Tehillah Yahweh, Bokato Mishpaka, Shimi Akazia Yisrael, Hayamin Eth Miteshal Yehuda, Tehillah Yahweh Ben Yahweh. Praise Yahweh. Good morning, family. My name is Akazia Yisrael, and I exist from the tribe of Yehuda. Praise Yahweh, and praise Yahweh Ben Yahweh. Now, I have a short class here for you. Before we get started, we're going to stand up and face the east so we can offer up our prayers unto our most wonderful and celestial Father, Yahweh, and his most celestial, wonderful Son, who is Yahweh in the presence that we can all observe and give praises to. Yahweh Bet Nun Sophie Yahweh. Praise Yahweh. It will be our Tefillah prayer. So please stand up with me and face the east. Tefillah. Ave Nusa Bashamayim, Yikadar Shemeakar, Tavo Michael Teakar, Yer Seri Zonkar, Kivashamayim came by audits, Elekum Kanu, Tain Lanu Hayom, Uslak Lanu, Alkarte Enu, Kimo Chaso King, Gamanatanu, Lakasa In Lanu, Veal Tefienu, the day Nisayon, Kal Seinu, Minhara, Kilaka, Mamlaha, Begivara, Beteferet, Leolame, Olame, Sila. Praise Yahweh. So I created this class here after getting into conversation with a coworker a few days ago. You know, he had some questions, and he really wasn't liking the answers I was giving him because I was able to ferment my answers not only with Bible scripture, but with historical accounts as well. And I could tell he was getting a little bit nervous. And he wanted to say, well, I don't believe that the Bible is real because, you know, man wrote the Bible and you know, man is imperfect and blah, 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 blah. And I was like, well, do you believe in science? He was like, yeah, I believe in science. It's evidence and all that. I said, man wrote the science book. I say, but you know what's crazy? They always changing the science books every 20 years, and some things they take out because it wasn't actually factual, and then they found more evidence, right? And they alter things. For a great instance, evolution. You know, in the 90s, when we was growing up in school, they were teaching evolution all the way up until 2000, and then they stopped because it wasn't real. If people started to ask questions, then why are monkeys not having people? You know, why we don't have some monkeys talking? And I ain't talking about sign language, nigga. I'm talking about talking. If people came from monkeys, why there are not still, we got zoos. You know, they had zoos in America for the last 120 years. Why has there not been an account where 2 gorillas or 2 apes or 2 chimpanzees or 2 spider monkeys or 2 orangutans, you know, end up having a person? Because it's not real. Evolution don't stop. That's why it's called evolution. If evolution was real, why we don't still have fish coming out the water being dinosaurs? I'm just saying. Think, people. You know, it's not real. Evolution does not stop. Why people been here, they, you know, for a long time. Why we ain't looking different? You know what I'm saying? Why we ain't growing a tentacle, you know, gills and all that? Because it's not real, right? The Big Bang is not real. You know, out of nothing came something. That's no, that's not how it works. You know, if you put a blank piece of paper in the safe and you put that safe in the vault for 1 billion years, it's not going to be a Corvette. You know what I'm saying? Praise Yahweh. So let's go ahead and get into this class, right? So true Israel is black and was never was in a position where someone brought us into physical Egypt, right? And then put us in bondage. That was never the case. We have always walked into Egypt, or we fled into Egypt. I give you some examples in this class here. Genesis chapter 42. We want to read a few scriptures. Now, when Jacob saw that there were corn in Egypt, Jacob said unto his sons, why do you look one upon another? And he said, behold, I have heard that there is corn in Egypt. Get you down thither, and buy for us from thence, that we may live and not die. And Joseph's 10 brethren went down to buy corn in Egypt. Verse 6 says, and Joseph was the governor over the land, and he it was that sold to all the people of the land. And Joseph's brethren came and bowed down themselves before him with their faces to the earth. Now, Exodus chapter 1, verse 1, and we're going to be reading verse 5 as well. Now these are the names of the children of Israel which came into Egypt. Every man in his household came with Yaakov. Verse 5, and all the souls that came out of the loins of Yaakov were 70 souls, for Joseph was in Egypt already. And the only reason Joseph was in Egypt already, because we sold him to merchants heading to Egypt, and he rose to be equivalent of today's term of a vice president. Prove my point. In Genesis 37, and Yaakov dwelt in the land wherein his father was a stranger, in the land of Canaan. Now Israel loved Joseph more than all his children, because he was the son of his old age, and he made him a coat of many colors. And when his brethren saw that their father's love, that the father loved him more than all his brethren, they hated him, and could not speak peaceably unto him. And when they saw him after off, even before he came near unto them, right, this is verse 18, they conspired against him to slay him. Verse 20, come now, therefore, let us slay him, and cast him into some pit, where we will say some evil beast have devoured him, and we shall see what will become of his dreams. They wanted to kill Joseph because Joseph was talking about this dream of his brothers bowing down to him, which came true. But you see, that did not mean that he would be the chosen. But we're gonna get there. I'm gonna show you how that came true. Watch this. And I'm still showing you how we came, meaning we walked into Egypt, right? In both accounts. Check this out. Right? All right. And Yehuda, this is verse 26. And Yehuda said unto his brethren, what profit is it if we slay our brother and conceal his blood? Come and let us sell him to the Ishmaelites, and let not our hands be upon him, for he is our brother and our flesh. And his brethren were content, because Judah knew that I'm going to be the ruler. And he had a chance to observe how his brothers would view him. Now, this is also prophecy, because like it says in the book of Revelations, well, I'll talk about that here in a minute, but he who sells into captivity will go into captivity. See, though Judah saved his brother Joseph from being killed, right, by the other 10 brothers, his idea, let's sell him into bondage, right, also got us into bondage. We're going to keep marching on. Come on. So the dreams that Joseph had of his brethren bowing before him to serve him made them envious of him. So they sought to kill their brother. But Judah, knowing he would rule, seeing the expression of how the others would behave towards him, so he offered bondage. Now Yahweh is awesome, because all of that was his plan to save the posterity of Israel due to a drought that would come upon Canaan. And Yahweh would cause Joseph to rise through the ranks to ruler, so that when his brethren would come looking for food, they would not be turned away. We're going to prove this, right? Just stay with me. Stay with me. Genesis chapter 41. We're reading verse 12, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, from 43, right? Again, I'm just proving a point here. And there was there with us a young man, a Hebrew servant, to the captain of the guard. And we told him, And he interpreted to us our dreams, to each man according to his dream he did interpret. And Pharaoh said unto his servants, can we find such a one as this is, a man who is the spirit of Yahweh is? And Pharaoh said unto him, Joseph, for as much as Yahweh hath showed you all this, there is none so discreet and wise as thou art. Thou shalt be over my house according unto the word, shall all my people be ruled. See, a lot of religions, they try to make Joseph look like he was just the governor over market, but no. You have to understand, he had power. We're going to get to it right here. It was more than just market. If you seen my solar calendar class, we proved that it was Joseph, the one who taught the Egyptians about the solar calendar. I'm going to continue. As well as, when you are a governor, what do? You lay down the law. So let's get to it, right? And Pharaoh took off his ring from his hand and put it upon Joseph's hand, and arrayed him in vestures of fine linen, and put a gold chain about his neck. And he made him to ride in the second chariot which he had. And they cried before him and bowed the knee, and he made him ruler over all the land of Egypt. Right? Now, this is how we're going to get to where Yahweh's awesome, because all of this was part of Yahweh's plan. Praise Yahweh. Now, in Genesis chapter 45, right, we're going to be reading verse 4 through 8. Check this out. And Joseph said unto his brethren, come near to me, I pray you. And they came near, and he said, I am Joseph, your brother, whom you sold into Egypt. Now, therefore, be not grieved nor angry with yourselves that ye sold me here, for Yahweh did send me before you to preserve life. And Yahweh sent me before you to preserve you a posterity in the earth, and to save your lives by a great deliverance. So now it was not you that sent me hither, but Yahweh. And he hath made me a father to Pharaoh, and Lord of all his house, and a ruler throughout all the land of Egypt. Praise Yahweh. So us being sent back into Egypt was symbolic referencing due to the similarities of this place in Egypt, right? And remember, this place was unknown to the Hebrews at this time because it's on the western hemisphere, separated by the Great Sea, right? So again, us being sent back into Egypt was a symbolic referencing due into the similarities of that place and this unknown place of the Hebrews due to the location being in the Western Hemisphere. As well, it was also referred to as Sodom and Babylon. Check this out. Revelation chapter 11:8, and their dead bodies shall lie in the street of that great city, which spiritually is called Sodom in Egypt, where also our Lord was crucified. Deuteronomy 28:68, and the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships. By the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again, and there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you. This is describing the Atlantic slave trade. How? Because this would be the first time we would be brought, meaning someone's bringing us along to this location by ship. And it was not across the Dead Sea. It's not. Israel and Palestine and Egypt is landlocked. And I want to prove to you that we didn't go in that they didn't grab Judah and ship across the Red Sea only a mile and a half, 2 miles, something like that, and drop us off. I'm going to prove that. Check this out. So we're going to be looking forward into this bondage of Judah with scrutiny. That means we're going to be really looking at it. Jeremiah 13:19. The cities of the south shall be shut up, and none shall open them. Yehudah shall be carried away captive, all of it. It shall be wholly carried away captive. How? Well, here go that prophecy again. Acts chapter 7, verse 6. And Yahweh spake on this wise, that his seed should sojourn in a strange land, and that they should bring them into bondage, and entreat them evil 400 years. Now, sojourn from the Greek's reference 3941 as a noun, person, place, or thing, a bydweller or an alien resident, a foreigner, a sojourned stranger. So again, we cannot be from America, okay? And again, we see here that we was being brought, right? Brought, okay? Again, a bydweller, an alien resident. We are an alien resident here, right? That's what sojourn means. Alien is belonging or relating to another person, place, or thing. Strange. This is a strange land here. It's relating, belonging, or owning allegiance to another country. We owe allegiance to our land. Or government. We owe allegiance to Yahweh's theocracy government. Right? We're foreign. We're differing in nature. Our character is different. It's typically to the point of incompatibility. This is why we are incompatible here in America, because we hold different by nature, right? By natural nature, we have a different character from the Spanish. We have a different character from the European. We have a different character from the African. We have a different character. Yahweh calls us a peculiar people. So we have been taught, right, how to act like other people. And this is why we are also incompatible within our own communities, because you are not your true self. You have been programmed to act outside of your true self. So you have incompatibility even with yourself. That's why you can't identify with your brother that walks down the street or your sister that walks down the street. You just see them as another nigga or another person or another black person or just a stranger. Now, you don't see them as family. That's my tribe right there. He's part of my tribe. That's part of my tribe. You don't see that because our minds and our spirits have become incompatible with each other from the false philosophies that we have taken upon ourselves. Check this out. Bring from the Greek reference 1402 is to enslave, literally or figuratively. Bring into or be under bondage. To be given, become, and make servants. Right? So again, where it says, and so bring them into bondage, right? It's just, again, and showing you that we was put on slave ships to be brought here under bondage. Meaning we didn't come on our free will. We were gathered and we was brought here. Right? Now, from the reference of 1402, we have 1210, which is a slave literally or figuratively, involuntary or voluntary, frequently, therefore, in a qualified sense of subjection or subserviency, right? And it's a bondman, a servant, as used as a primary action is to bind in various applications, right? Like how you bind someone in a bond or in a or how you knit a tie, right? It's to behooved, right? That is to beseech, pray, petition, binding oneself, or making a request. So this is now talking about we went from being physical slaves with involuntary will to now we have been made so incompatible, and we have been made so ignorant to where our hope is lost that we even still keep their names voluntarily instead of wondering what was our names before we came here, right? So now you keep the slave name that you got off the plantation and you start to name your kids as 3-4 generations later, 5-6 generations later, and you're a proud man of this name. This is our name. Johnson is our name. Don't you ever disrespect our name, son. And it's like, no, Daddy, Johnson is the plantation you walked off of. It's not, and then we even have to, when it comes down to market, a lot of us don't have the means or even the ideas to open up a business, right? So we voluntarily sign ourselves up for bondage with employment. All right. So we are now voluntarily servants because we are unproductive collectively, and thus is why it's hard for our people to live amongst ourselves and others, because we have been driven to a character that is not ours and knowledge that is not true and that's not genuine, right? A person who is unconscious about living in a lie can never truly be living at all, due to the circumstances of living a delusional life in the first place. Say that again. We are now voluntarily servants because we are unproductive collectively. Thus is why it is hard for our people to live amongst ourselves and others, because we have been driven to a character that is not ours and knowledge that is not true and genuine. A person who is unconscious about living in a lie can never truly be living at all, due to the circumstances of living a delusional life in the first place. Now, strange is not before known, right? It's not, but this place was not before known to us. Heard or seen, it is unfamiliar. That's why it says a strange land in Genesis chapter 15, verse 13, right? And it's uncomfortable for us here. We are ill at ease here, right? It's not native to us here. It's not naturally belonging to a place or external organs or origins or kind of character. This is not our cup of tea, right? And we don't go into that until Genesis, again, 15:13. And Yahweh said unto Abram, know of a surety that they see to be a stranger in a land that is not theirs, and shall serve them, and they shall afflict them 400 years. But in that fourth generation they shall come hither again, for the iniquity of the Amorites is not yet full. Again, stranger in the Hebrew 16:16, Gagar is a guest, by implication a foreigner. Here go this foreigner again, this second witness. We not from here. The European man didn't come here and conquer us and cause us mass genocide and made us forget that we was. No, you're not native here. You're not. You're not. And again, I'm proving to you that we never came into Egypt and then was brought into, when I say Egypt, I'm talking about physical Egypt. We was never brought into physical Egypt against our will and then made to be a slave. No, we came, and I'm showing you this, right? So then when we take a look at more evidence of this, right? So now let's take a look at Genesis chapter 42 as well as in chapter 43. Let's see what was going on, in that time. I want to prove my point here. I'm here to help you do it. Genesis chapter 42. And we're going to read verse 42, chapter 42 and 43. Then all the captains of the forces in Johanan, right, the son of Kareah, and Jezaniah, the son of Hoshea, and all the people from the least even unto the greatest came near, and said unto Jeremiah the prophet, let we beseech thee our supplications to be accepted before thee, and pray for us unto the Lord thy God Yahweh, even for all this remnant, for we are left but a few of many, as thine eyes do behold us, that the Lord thy God Yahweh may show us the way wherein we may walk, and the things we may do. Then Jeremiah the prophet said unto them, I have heard you, and behold, I will pray unto the Lord Yahweh, your God, according to your words. And it shall come to pass that whatsoever thing the Lord Yahweh shall answer you, I will declare it unto you, and I will keep nothing back from you. Then they said to Yirmiyahu, the Lord be a true and faithful witness between us, if we do not, even according to all the things for the which that the Lord thy God Yahweh shall send thee to us, whether it be good or whether it be evil, we will obey the voice of the Lord our God Yahweh, to whom we send thee, that it may be well with us when we obey the voice of the Lord our God Yahweh. They lied. Just forewarning, they lying. Like how we be lying, they lying. And we need to stop lying, right? As a people, we need to stop lying, saying we're going to do something, whether we like it or not. Just go let us know what the answer is. And then when they come back and give us the answer, you don't like it. Oh, I ain't doing it. But you just said you was going to do it. I ain't doing it. You can't make me do it. I'm not doing it. That's what they did, right? It was untruthful. And it came to pass after 10 days that the word of the Lord Yahweh came unto Jeremiah. Again, Jeremiah just didn't go home and wrote down something that he thought he heard. He waited. 10 whole days went by. Yud. The number of 10 in the Hebrew alphabet is Yud. So on that 10th day, the spirit of Yud came unto Jeremiah. Woo! Woo! Check this out. We getting there. Right? Then called Jehohanan the son of Kareah, and the captains of the forces which were with him, and all the people from the least even to the greatest, and said unto them, Thus saith the Lord, the God of Israel, Yahweh, unto whom you sent me to present your supplications before him. If ye will still abide in this land, talking about Judah, then will I build you and not pull you down, and I will plant you and not pluck you up. For I have repented me of the evil that I have done unto you. Be not afraid of the king of Babylon, of whom ye are afraid. Be not afraid of him, saith the Lord Yahweh, for I am with you to save you and to deliver you from his hand. And I will show mercy unto you, that he may have mercy upon you, and cause you to return to your own land, right? But if ye say we will not dwell in this land, neither obey the voice of the Lord your God Yahweh, saying no, but we will go into the land of Egypt, right? Rewind that. I'm just saying. Saying no, but we will go into the land of Egypt, where we shall see no war, nor hear the sound of the trumpet, nor have hunger of bread, and there we will dwell. And now, therefore, hear the word of the Lord Yahweh, ye remnant of Yehudah. Thus saith the Lord Yahweh of hosts, the God of Israel, if ye wholly set your faces to enter into Egypt, and go to sojourn there, right, be a stranger there, be a by-dweller there, then it shall come to pass that the sword which ye feared shall overtake you there in the land of Egypt, and the famine whereof you were afraid shall follow close after you there in Egypt, and there ye shall die. So shall it be with all the men that set their faces to go into Egypt to sojourn there. They shall die by the sword, by famine, by the pestilence, and none of them shall remain or escape from the evil that I will bring, right, upon you. So he was talking about, don't go back into physical Egypt. Don't, just stay in your land, and I will have Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon, give you mercy, so you can stay in your land, in your own land, and I won't let hair on your head be plucked. But you see, they let the fear of a man, instead of the known powers of their God, they let fear of man rule their life. Check this out. For thus saith the Lord Yahweh of hosts, the God of Israel, as my anger and my fury have been poured forth upon the inhabitants of Jerusalem, so shall my fury be poured forth upon you, when ye shall enter into Egypt, and ye shall be an execration, and an astonishment, and a curse, and a reproach, and ye shall see this place no more. And the Lord Yahweh said concerning you, O ye remnant of Yehudah, go ye not into Egypt. Know certainly that I have admonished you this day, for ye dissembled in your hearts when ye sent me unto the Lord your God, saying, pray for us unto the Lord our God, according to all that the Lord our God shall say, so declare unto us, and we will do it. And now I have this day declared it to you, but ye have not obeyed the voice of the Lord your God, nor anything for which he sent me unto you. Now therefore know certainly that ye shall die by the sword, by famine, and by pestilence, and in the place whither you shall desire to go into sojourn. Right? Now, verse 43, chapter 43. And it came to pass that when Yirmiyahu had made an end of speaking unto the people all the words of the Lord their God Yahweh, for which the Lord their God Yahweh had sent him to them, even all of these words, then wanted to speak Azariah the son of Hoshea, right? And Yohanan the son of Kareah, and the proud man, saying unto Yirmiyahu, Thou speakest falsely. The Lord our God hath not sent thee to say, Go not into Egypt to sojourn there. But Baruch, the son of Nira, setteth thee on against us, for to deliver us in the hands of the Chaldeans, that they might put us to death and carry us away captive into Babylon. So Yohanan, the son of Kareah, and all the captains of the forces and all the people obeyed not the voice of the Lord Yahweh to dwell in the land of Yehudah. But Yohanan, the son of Kareah, and all the captains of the forces took all the remnant of Yehudah that were returned from all the nations, whither they had been driven, to dwell in the land of Yehudah, even men, women, and children, and the king's daughters, and every person that Nebuchadnezzar, the captain, or Nebuzaradan, the captain of the guard, had left with Gedaliah, the son of Ahikam, the son of Shaphan, and Yirmiyahu the prophet, and Baruch, the son of Neriah. So they came into the land of Egypt. Again, so they came into the land of Egypt. Came and brought is two different words. Just how Exodus 1:1 said we came into Egypt. Look, they came into Egypt. We was never brought into physical Egypt and reduced to bondage. Never. Every time we went to physical Egypt, we walked there. And I just wanted to disprove that point to you. We walked there. We never was brought into physical Egypt. Never, 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 ever, ever, ever. Right? So when you get to the book of Lamentations, right, and then all of these curses are falling upon us because now, we've done that. Okay, Yahweh said, okay. What happened was after we got into physical Egypt, then we were pushed further into West Africa, where we resided for a few hundred years, right? Again, the prophecy didn't come true yet because it wasn't for them. It was for the ones that would be coming over here to this place that is spiritually called Egypt. How? You heard me say this many a times. The similarities between Egypt and America is astonishing. Both places, animals that represent their country is the bald eagle. No big deal. Both places have a city called Memphis. You have Memphis, Tennessee, and then you have Memphis out there in Egypt. Both Memphises are off the body of the rivers, the Nile and the Mississippi. Both rivers, the Nile and the Mississippi, when it comes down to landmass, have 70% of that landmass on the west side of it and about 30% on the east side of it. Both places are a wilderness. They're hard to breathe because in that time, it was desert, right? In Egypt, a lot of desert, hard to breathe. Air was hard to breathe. Well, in America, we have pollution. It's hard to breathe, and they have deserts here. It's hard to breathe. And in both places, yes, we did serve a form of bondage because after we came into bondage, after we went into Egypt the first time when Joseph was alive and all that, and he died, and all his brothers died, and everybody in that generation died, and Pharaoh died, the new Pharaoh came about. But remember, we was already in Egypt when we were thriving because of our brother Joseph's position. We were thriving. And that new Pharaoh seen that, hey man, there's more Hebrews in this land than us. They taking over our inheritance. Well, we're going to put them in a hard, restrictive living conditions. See, that's after living there. No, we wasn't living here. And then someone was like, hey, let's put these niggas under bondage. That did not happen. So I just wanted to just point that out to you. Again, that we were never brought into physical Egypt against our will. Every time we went into physical Egypt, we came into Egypt, right? And this right here just proved it all. So I'm going to wrap this up with these last 3 verses. Well, let me hit you up with a little bit more. Right? So in Genesis chapter 15:16, it says, but in the 4th generation then shall come hither again, for the iniquity of the Amorites is not yet full. Right? Well, the Amorites is a patronymic term from an unused name which is derived in the sense of publicity, that is prominence. That means it's going to happen. Thus, a mountaineer, an Amorite, or one of the Canaanites' tribes. When you look at the word mountaineer, it means Alps. And Alps means a mountain range in South Europe, expanding from France through Switzerland, Italy, into Austria, and Slovenia, and Croatia. And the highest peak is Mount Blanc, right? So European people would be in this equation as the culprit. As well, when looking at Amorite, it means Westerners, which details of the Western United States, where we are strangers. Lamentations chapter 1, verse 3. Let me get this correct. Yehuda is gone into captivity because of affliction and because of great servitude. She dwelleth among the heathen. She findeth no rest. All her persecutors overtook her between the straits. Now, Lamentations chapter 4, verse 6 and verse 8 reads, for the punishment of the iniquities of the daughters of my people is greater than the punishments of the sin of Sodom, that was overthrown as in a moment, and no hands stayed on her. Their visage is blacker than the coal, and they are not known in the streets. Their skin cleaveth to their bones, and it is withered. It is become like a stick. Well, visage, right, means the outline. There's 2 or, right? Tav Aklef Resh is 2 or. It's outline, which means figure or appearance. Outline is an indication of the principal features or the differences of parts, the shape, as well as the appearance of the body as distinguished from that of the face, your figure. Now, blacker is Shakar, Sheen, Kaf, Wall of Resh, right? Blacker, it means, again, black. Which proves that the Hebrews were not white, but black. And black is defined as of or relating to any of the various population groups of a special African ancestry, often considered having dark pigmentation of skin, but in fact having a wide range of skin colors. Black Americans. So I hope this information helped anyone who did not understand the concept of how, if the Hebrews are in America and the Bible talks about this prophecy of 400 years and in bondage in Egypt and being brought on by slave ships, it was not talking about crossing those stupid Red Sea. It was talking about crossing the Great Sea between Africa and the Western Hemisphere. Egypt, again, is physical. America was the spiritual. Praise Yahweh. And as we even heard in Revelations 11:8, that our Messiah would be crucified in the place spiritually called Sodom in Egypt. Jerusalem or Palestine as a whole was never called Sodom, nor was it called Egypt. It was always called the Holy Land, right? The land of promise, because it was promised to Yahweh's children, the Adamites, and through their inheritance seed, Seth, and through his inheritance seed, Noah, and through his inheritance seed, Shem, through his inheritance seed. You know, Aber, Abraham, Judah, all 12 tribes. Praise Yahweh. Have a great day, family. I love you so much. I'll see you in the next one.